नमस्कार सभी को. Let's start the topic from economics class 12th. The topic is supply. So what is a supply? Supply includes two conditions. What are those conditions? First of all, understand supply should be understood from the point of view of producer, right? And it has two conditions. That means there is a willingness to supply, right? Willingness and able to offer for sale. That means your firm is engaging in production. Why they are production? If whatever they are doing, the production, right? It becomes supply only if that firm is willing and able to offer for sale, right, at a possible price during a period of time. So supply means a quantity of a commodity. In a very simple definition, supply means a quantity of a commodity that a firm is willing and able to offer for sale at each possible prices during a given period of time. So we say the very important concept that links to the supply is a stock. Now stock refers to the total quantity of a commodity at a particular point of time. Now that particular point of time, if I explain in this way, like stock as on 31st March, or stock as on 10th of March, or stock as on 20th of November, whatsoever, on a particular point of time. Here particular point of time refers to the particular date. Okay, so stock means that particular date or on a particular point of time how much stock you are maintaining. I'll give you one more example to clarify this concept here. Now take an example. A seller has a stock of, say, for 50 tons of sugar in the godown. Seller has a stock of 50 tons of sugar in the godown. Now if the seller is willing to sell 30 tons at the rate of, say, for 40 rupees per kg, okay, so he is selling 30 tons at the rate of 40 rupees per kg. So here the supply is of 30 tons, right, which is a part of the stock, and we had maintained the stock of 50 tons. So you remember one thing, the stock should always be greater than the supply. Supply is a part of a stock. So stock is a particular commodity at a particular point of time. So in my example, that seller has maintained a stock of 50 tons in the godown. Out of that 50 tons, seller willing and able offer for sale is 30 tons at the rate of 40 rupees per kg. So this is the concept of supply. Now the supply, I have made two arrows. That means what are the factors that affecting supply, individual supply, and what are the factors that affecting market supply. So individual supply means, as I already said, supply should always be supply should always be considered from the point of view of a producer. Producer means firm. So individual supply means we are talking about one individual firm, whereas in market supply we are talking about more than one individual firm. There may be firm A, firm B, firm C, firm D, firm E, right? That all firms, summation of all individual firms becomes market supply. And when there is only one single firm, then it is a individual supply. Now let's look into this factors. What are the factors that affect the supply? The first is, in the left hand side, look there, price of the commodity. Now price of the commodity, how the price is affecting the supply. If the price of commodity X, Px represents your price of commodity X. Say for if the price of commodity X is increased, then supply curve for commodity X will also increase. And if the price of commodity X is decreased, then supply curve will also decrease. Second point is price of factors of production. Now I assume that factors of production you know. What are the factors of productions? Very famous and very genuine questions. That what are the factors of production? We have got four factors of productions: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. So a firm employ all these factors of production, and against that, since these factors of productions are being used, so they must be given a reward against using. So for using land we offer rent, for using labor we give wages, for employing capital we give interest, and against entrepreneur we give profit. So these are the factors of production. Now if there is an increase in the factors of production, the arrow which is going upward, that shows a rise. So if there is a rise in factors of production, definitely it is going to increase the cost of production, therefore the production gets reduced. If the production reduced, the supply curve will shift leftward. Now, just vice versa. The second case is if there is decrease in the factors of production, that means the cost of factors of production decreases, then production will increase. Now, if production increases, then supply curve will shift rightward. Then third is state of technology. If there is an technological progress or if there is an updation in the technology, that updation will leads to decrease in the cost of production. If the cost of production reduces, it will leads to increase in the profit. Now if profit increases, that means supply curve shifted rightward. Now just a vice versa case, if firm is using old technology or obsolete technology, now using the obsolete technology, that will leads to increase in cost of production. If the cost of production increases, then total output decreases, right? Now if the total output decreases, your supply curve will shift right leftward. So this is for the state of technology. The next point is unit tax. Now I have quoted an example here. Say if a government has imposed 3 rupees tax per unit, and if the firm is selling say for 20 units, so 20 multiplied with 3 gives you 60 rupees, right? See, this is the tax amount, 60 rupees. Now suppose if there is an increase in the unit tax from 3 rupees, if the tax increases to 5 rupees or maybe 10 rupees, this will lead to the increase in cost of production. So as I already mentioned, if there is an increase in the cost of production, supply curve will shift leftward. Now say for if there is a decrease in the unit tax, so if their tax rates is decreases, then cost of production will decrease. Now if the cost of production decreases, then supply curve will shift rightward. Then the next point is price of other goods. Now firm produces more than one product with given resources. Now if there is an increase in the price of other goods, right? If the firm is using two product, if the firm is engaged in production of two products, product A and product B, so if increase in price of other goods, say for price of product B increases, it will motivate to increase the production, because if the sale increased, that means profit also increased, right? So this will motivate the producer or firm to produce more of the other goods whose sorry the producer will be producing that goods whose price is higher, because higher price gives more profit, other than or unlike the other product whose price remains unchanged. Then the last is the objective of the firm. Sometimes it happens, it becomes the objective of the firm to achieve the maximum sales or maximum employment. So just to achieve that purpose of maximum sale or maximum employment, they increase their production. So these are the factors which is applied in individual supply. Now if I start, before starting the market supply, let me tell you one thing, all these 6 points will be covered exactly the same in the market supply also. Other than this 6, besides 6 points, 3 more points will be added, like number of firms in the market. Now if the number of production units in the market increases, it will definitely lead to increase in the market supply, right? So and just vice versa, if there is decrease in the number of firms, then market supply gets decreases. Then the next point is future expectations regarding price. Now if the seller expect the price will rise, so market supply will decrease, because expecting price rise, that means the cost of productions may increase, therefore market supply decreases to raise the supply in future at higher price. And just the opposite, if the supplier or the seller has a fear that price may fall, then market supply will increase to avoid the future loss. Then the last point is means of transportations and communication. If the proper infrastructures like road, transportation, telecommunications are these provided, then supply will definitely increase. So this is about the factors which affecting individual supply and market supply. Connecting to this concept, one more concept comes, that is supply function. So what is a supply function? Supply function basically it gives the relationship between quantity supplied of a commodity and the factors those are influencing it. Now we have already gone through the factors. What are the factors which can affect the supply? What are the factors? Price of the commodity, price of the factors of production, state of technology, unit tax, price of other goods, objective of the firms, right? These 6 will be same for both individual supply and market supply, but in market supply 3 more points will be added, that is number of firms in the market, future expectations regarding price, and means of transportation and communication. So individual supply and market supply, again I have made the two arrows to make you understand the concept. Sx represents supply function of commodity X. For individual supply, px comma pf comma po comma st comma t comma o, these are the short forms. For the full form is Sx represents supply of commodity X, px represents price of commodity X, pf represents price of factors of production, po represents price of other goods, st represents your state of technology, t is your taxation policy, o is your objective of the firm. So observe if you observe it, you will see whatever the factors we have already gone through, all those points are mentioned there. In market supply, other besides the 6 point, 3 points which I've already gone through, I have added here. N represents your number of firms, F is the future expectations regarding commodity X, and M represents your means of transportation and communication. So supply and supply function. Supply function represent the relationship between quantities supplied and the factors that influencing it. And under supply we have gone through two parts, that factors affecting individual supply and factors affecting market supply.